Ooh-wee! Midway Radio is back, y'all, and Carlos is here. But with us this week, we're going to be talking to the security guard at large. Ragnar Lothbrooke's lost baby cousin, J. Norm.
Yo! What's up, everybody?
What up, sir? Welcome to Midway Radio.
Well,
Midway Radio
is here, man. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, buddy. Welcome to Midway Radio. It's a lot like Game of Thrones, but instead of dragons flying around the Seven Kingdoms thinking that they're at an all-you-can-eat buffet, we have DJs. DJ is like DJ Sean Doe.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I feel like you should have introduced Chad first, but he's coming.
Oh,
where's your bangs, man?
Look at him. Look at him. He's about to bust on his tie and stuff, man. Hey, Bangs God himself, DJ Risky Business.
Why does he look so psycho?
Risky's Bangs got a theme song.
As soon as he bust him out, it was like, oh my God. All right.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
You guys all caught up on Game of Thrones?
I haven't watched an episode.
One episode?
No, not one yet.
He's
not
like,
one.
my life is Game of Thrones.
We're Scandinavian. We like Vikings.
Yeah, see, he knew. And he's wearing winter camouflage like me.
See, that
so
was
our Nordic side is just, it's flaring tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering where the snow went.
It'll probably be back tomorrow. Don't wish too hard.
I know.
Well,
I know. You guys don't play around anymore.
Look, if it does, I'll be able to just tune into the CBC weather report.
There you go. And I'll be live and direct from a block near you, straight out the trench.
Yo, for real, every time I'm like, man, fuck this. I'm done. I'm going back home. Like, it happens every time. Ryan will send me a text message. Man, fuck this place. I just got a parking ticket. Or man, fuck this place. We just got 6 inches of snow. I'm like, dude, it's June. Like, what?
That was literally last week. I left for Florida. I went to Jacksonville on Sunday morning. I'm carrying my kid out at like 7 a.m. with just hail hitting him in the face. Like, it was 65 the day before. What the fuck happened?
Yo, speaking of Florida, you guys see where the Easter Bunny went up someone's head?
Oh,
yeah. Just started teeing off on my man.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. Like, so what was good about that was,
what in the world could be good about that?
What the Easter Bunny coming out and whooping this guy's ass?
Yeah, I gotta know.
Amazing. Like you would just think Easter was just like, he was just on some religious shit. Like, all right, cool. I'm just trying to give my basket. Like everything's happiness. He sees this lady that needs help. He's like, fuck these eggs.
Time to go to work. Bunny rabbit punched the clock.
Hands though. Like, it was like,
I would have liked to seen one of those like Liberty insurance people with the signs out front.
Yeah.
Whoop somebody's ass with the sign. That would be
sure.
But then flipping it around, doing tricks with
like
it as like straight up ninja signing someone.
I'm sure we can YouTube.
Hey,
right
and then I thought internet won the day with that one, but right before I came on the show, I saw this dude was dressed up like Jesus, and some dude was trying to mess with him, and Jesus just went and checked his chin. Dude took a nap. Jesus made this dude go to sleep.
See, you can't, that's the thing. You can't make this shit up nowadays.
And Jesus looked like he had on a red cape. He had a white outfit, like the Jesus outfit, not like a suit or anything. And then he had this red cape like coming off. I was like, boy, you got your ass over by Super Jesus. You
should have known better from the start.
Yeah,
well, man. Okay, number one is Jesus. Number two, he has a cape. Bro.
Yeah. And I don't think you should be talking shit about Jesus.
Yeah. And you wondering why you got that stiff arm up in the air like this. Because, when you get knocked out, like you go limp, whatever, you got knocked the fuck out when your arm is stiff.
Bro,
there's no coming back, bro.
Talking security in Chicago, I've seen quite a few of those over the years in clubs in the city.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing to start off on. Like, when did you start working security here?
Well, it's funny because right when I was 22 years old, I was 21 or 22. I had a boy named Anthony Diamond that worked at Subterranean. He was one of the original bouncers with Chris Fountain, better known as the General.
Yeah.
And they were looking for help. So I've been to the club a few times and I seen the hip hop was going on. I enjoyed myself. So he got me the job there. And that's where it started at Sub T. That was about 15 years ago now. And I'm still presently there.
Nice.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
You've also done security at other places too. Can you name some of those?
Yeah, the Mid, Mannequin, Betty Blue Star, the Shrine, Sub T. I've worked all over. I know bouncers from all over the city, and working security in the city, you stay pretty tight-knitted with everybody. So wherever they went, I usually came with them, or wherever they needed help, we would do that. A lot of bodyguarding stuff, a lot of festivals. So I've done a little bit of everything. And through the networking of it all, it landed me here.
So in doing security, you did a lot of security for like a lot of hip hop shows.
That's one thing I like. I prize myself on being a fan because I'm not a rapper. I'm not a DJ. Primarily, what you would call me now is I'm security / a promoter / I don't know, just a give back advocate, I guess. And from all of that, from doing all that, it got me really deep in this hip hop stuff. Like I said, I started at 606 about 15 years ago, and I started doing security with them. Once I got to know them, I was just pushing them naturally because I got to know everybody there: Edgar, Rex, Nate, Dave, Mary, Voltaire, Norm, Tony, Boy Wonder. And from knowing them, they became a real, I was the white boy in the Asian family at the time other than DJ Verb. So I sort of got took in and I started pushing the night naturally. And then after years of being there and being a part of that family, I mean, these guys went from guys I knew at the bar part-time to I was going to weddings. I was going to birthday parties. I really got taken in by them. And then from there, how off
the hook were these weddings that they needed security there?
Well, no, not even security. It always helped to have us there.
They're like, look, everybody's gonna be chill, but keep an eye on grandma.
No, but
that
I'm
bitch is crazy.
As far as like the 606 members, like Rex and Norm and Dave, they all became family to me, and to the point where I was being invited to family functions.
Sure, yeah.
Going to places and vacations and bachelor parties. So as time went by and these guys started getting a little bit older and married, Rex and Dave, they all started going their own ways. So when I seen the opportunity of like, who's going to step up to keep it going? Because I was so intrigued by the night just being a fan. I was like, I guess I could do it. Like, I know enough of these rappers. I know enough people where, why not? Let's give it a try. So basically at that time when I really got involved and I made the decision to promote and start pushing hip hop shows and really, I consider myself like the foot in the door of Sub T. I consider myself I'm the guy who they entrust in to say, hey man, that hip hop show is cool. Let's do it. And then on top of that, I got to put it on my own shoulders as far as security, where I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm watching it. This is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years of doing that and doing it right and doing it with the right people, it helped me out tremendously. I went from booking, basically, I got into promotion because I used to do birthday parties at Sub T all in my 20s. And me and my friends were heavy drinkers. So we would rock that place, make everybody a bunch of money. And next thing you know, they were like, hey, you want to start, booking nights here? What do you think you could do? So I did that on top of booking all the acts for 606, for putting shows together. And naturally, at that time, my huge transition at the time was moving to the Shrine, starting off as security there, but then later on getting more into the promotion and marketing once Mr. Russo put faith in me. So through security, I networked and made my way up this chain of promotions and marketing, and I've checked off a lot of bucket list dreams as far as hanging out with rappers or doing shows with my name on it that really proud of, and it's been great, man.
What were some of those shows that you like? Can you name some like artists that you've put on or had shows?
G Rap, Pharoah Munch, G Dep, Large Professor, Mos Def. I mean, when I was at the Shrine, I not only did security, but I also did production and helped with shows or did the full show if they would give me it. But yeah, pretty much all the classics from Nas to Damian Marley to Pete Rock, CL Smooth to Rakim. I was either working security for those shows or a part of the production of the shows or whatever I was like the sixth man of the Shrine. I was brought in like security. I did VIP hosting. I did assistant managing. I did a little bit of everything. And then they hit me with the promotions, and shout out to Greenweeds because he was there doing a lot of stuff with me, and he really encouraged me to get into it and do it. Because at a certain point, I was like, yo, what am I, I make my money here. I do what I got to do. Do I really want to get into this as far as promotion and marketing? And another big thing was I sat back and I watched a lot of fucked up promoters do shows and pay to plays and was like, this ain't right. And it's not entertaining. And one show at the Shrine I recall, and I won't say the promoter's name, but I do remember who it was. He did a Noriega show there, and it was a pay to play, and there had to be about 20 opening acts before Noriega got on. And I was like,
Jesus.
I was so drunk and bored at the point of being there. I think I stayed for a song and I was like, I'm out. So I think I used that too. I got to sit back in the shadows, even with that Sub T, and watch people rap and watch people put on shows and do things when they didn't even realize I was there. So I got to suck in a lot of information like that on my do's and don'ts,
That's dope.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I mean, so you're officially, I mean, I've always kind of considered you're security, but you are a promoter, but you are like a witness. So people like you who aren't necessarily rappers or DJs or don't do something on the direct element side of things, you guys are like true witnesses to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's that, and it's also at the point of, like I said, it was sort of a natural pathway of saying yes to things. My motto on everything coming up in this game with doing shows or anything, if anybody's going to offer it, don't say no. Take it on, see what happens with it. If I fail, I fail. I learn from it. What did I lose out of it other than maybe like, don't fuck with this dude no more. He can't fill a 1,000-person room. So there were shows at the Shrine I was doing where the occupancy was 1,000 people, and I had to I had to make do on that, whether it was a big headliner or not. And I'm from the north side, northwest suburbs, and then the north side of the city. So when I went out to the South Loop, I was like, at a point, I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know? And other than being the only, I think there was 2 white guys on the security staff, and that was it. But yeah, it was leading the way in wanting to do shows and wanting it to be an entertaining show and a memory and a moment, and not just, oh, I'm gonna go get this money and woo woo woo. Because I knew enough people in the industry where if I just wanted to go to shows and meet stars, I could have done that too. But I took it upon myself when they gave me the opportunity to do bigger things. I decided to go for it.
What was your most memorable show that you've done?
For me, it was Brand Nubian. That was one of the first shows that I got my hands on where they gave me they gave me it. They just gave me it. I didn't have to, that was at the Shrine. I didn't have to pay them nothing. They said, here it is. We want you to put the complete lineup together. We'll give you so much of this, that, this, and you do it. And I believe that show, the lineup I put together with MCs and DJs, which I had ambidextrous on, doing a DJ gig, which I think a lot nowadays you don't get that out of a show. I was doing what I wanted to see in the 90s. You know, you would go to a show and you would see a DJ come out, kill it, warm the crowd up. Then you would get a local rap group that would come out, kill it, you know, and then so on and so forth. But yeah, Brand Nubian was probably the biggest show and the most memorable because I couldn't believe that I got that. And I had White Jesus on the bill with Brand Nubian. So that was another funny, you know, with Lord Jamar at the time. I was like, oh, I'm going to put White Jesus on it. Let's see what happens. And that was pretty huge for me then.
So first off, I want to give props to White Jesus for allowing, like, making it really super easy for us to interview Four Eyes the other day. Like, he was very communicative with,
that's his brother, man.
And they were just really dope. Like, you guys, like, obviously handling business with him is real, because he really took everything. Like, he wasn't like you would text him, he would text back. You know what I mean? He was really straightforward with his answers. So it was just a good experience dealing with him.
Oh man, I've been
can't wait to be able to interview, interview him for what we've been doing.
Well, that's the thing. And like when you guys, you know, when I told you that or you seen that though, you called me. I mean, within seconds, I text him, like you said, he's one of the best businessmen in this game around Chicago right now. He's one of the biggest pushers of quality shows and music. So him, number 2, Four Eyes. Yeah, man, Six Rings Music, pay attention to them because they've been doing big things. They're continuing to do big things. And even with me now, they're working, Pat works with me and Solo with our Red Cup. We got big things coming with that. So with us, we're just trying to get to a point right now where everybody that I'm dealing with in a whole, because we're older, understands the importance of networking and really getting this music out there. And Chicago hip hop's one of the greatest things in the world. And I believe I've been around long enough and I know enough people where if we could all get on the same level, we could really push this way further than Illinois or Chicago. Yeah, and it's something I've always been a big fan of and I root for. And through that, everything's worked for me, man. From just being honest with people and saying, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, this is the shows I got. It usually works out. And you run into people like Pat, who is 100% great networking, great business, want to do things like I'm sitting here, you were pointing out earlier, in the Solo Turntable Fitness Center, and I got a sold-out poster with my name on it with Pharoah Munch. There's a Master Ace one here that Six Rings was a part of, Solo was a part of, and yeah, man, every time we get together and decide on a business plan, we make it happen, we execute, and everybody has a really good time.
Yo, I want to big up our brother Mike One looking over us.
Oh man,
background.
super.
Because I saw that was the first thing that I saw. I was like, man, like Mike and Audace. Like,
yeah, and that was one of the most memorable shows and days and nights. Like I mean, because that was not too far right before, you know, it was the winter before. And yeah, just super memorable, man. And that shout out to Mike One, because this is from a promoter standpoint. Not only was that kid a fucking MC, he was a fucking showman. And from me being around him towards the end, especially because me and him talked a lot in the sense of like, he would just, we had weird moments. I'm sure Chad and all you guys who talked to him he would call me out of left field, or we would bump into each other with him riding his bike from the forest up in Jeff Park. And we had conversations about shows and things we were going to do. And the thing I always appreciated, he did more than some of the promoters I know out there as far as a show. We need drums. We're going to put this act in. We're going to bring this girl out to remix with this dude. And he would be there 2 hours before a show just practicing and practicing and practicing. But at the same time, every show he ran, you had to be at his regiment. And this is how he was going to do it. And if you were down, he was the same type of person as like a Pat or a Solo, or, you know, when they were about the business and they knew that side of it, they did it. They made it super memorable and a super great show. So yeah, man, I learned so much from him on that level of working. It really blew my mind, because I was like, is he going to be, you know, he could have been that cocky rapper if he wanted. He had the connections, the people outside in his family, and he never did. He kept it very business orientated and super hip hop, man.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny when I look at you, Doe, the funniest story comes to mind with me. This is how Doe comes in and out, just like how we were talking earlier. And I'm on the block. I'm coming through. So when I was at the Shrine and I first got a show, they put my full name over the poster. So I walk into work one day, and mind you, at the Shrine, I was a part of a security team. We got into a lot of fights. There were a lot of people that I'm sure remember me on the negative side as good as a positive side in that business. So for me wanting to, you know, stay under the radar at the Shrine, because I was a big bald-headed white boy on the security team who sometimes had to get physical with people with the team, I was easily remembered. So I come into work one day and I see, this is right when I'm starting to get these shows from Joe Russo, and shout out to Joe Russo, man. He's another big hip hop icon in Chicago, whether people love him or hate him.
Yeah.
He did a lot for the city. So shout out to him. But yeah, they had my full name over a poster for one of these shows. Like, I'm like, yo, man, you guys are really gonna get me killed. Like, Google me, and you know, it's bad enough I gotta watch my back leaving here, but you guys got my full name. So whoever it was, I think it was either Joe or Greenweeds, they were like, yo, man, come up with the name then. So I leave there and I'm going to Sub T, and I'm walking into Sub T, and who do I see walking by but Sean Doe? And he comes up, and what's up, as he always does. He just pops out of left field in Wicker Park. Like, what's up, man? Miss you. Good to see you. Like, fuck, great to see you too, man. And he's like, so what's been up? And I was like, they're putting my full name on the posters. I gotta think of a nickname. And I'm saying things, and he's like, what do you got? So like previous to this, I'm in the car with my brother arguing about a nickname, and telling my brother used to go by J No. So I was like, yo, man, I'm taking J No. He's like, the fuck you are? He's like, I've been using that for 50 years. You ain't using my shit. Figure something else out. So I'm like, all right. So I'm going through it. So finally J Norm comes, and I'm like, all right. So Doe comes walking by. We talk for 2 minutes like we always do. Said, what's up? Love you. Good to see you. Bump into you soon. I was like, so he's like, did you come up with the name? I said, J Norm. He said, all right, I'll hit you with the logo tomorrow. And just like that,
oh shit,
a day later, this fucking guy made my J Norm Newport sign, which I call it. It's like a Nike Newport contrast of my name. And the next thing you know, I was gifted that by Sean Doe himself. So from that point on, my logo that I use on everything now is directly from your man over there.
Yeah,
he's all right.
Yeah,
he's all right.
No,
no.
Come on, son.
He was quick. He was real quick.
So me and Norm been brothers for a long time. So, and also, I know it from both ends. I know it from the security end because I used to do security at Metro, Dark Room, and I know it from the entertainment end too. So when he told me he needed that help, I was just like, yeah, you can't mention names.
I appreciate it. And it's funny because everybody in my family, including my wife now, all our names are JN.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
JJ Norman, my wife's Jessica Norman. We're all J Norms.
Nice. You assimilated everybody.
Real talk. They're
That's
in the
a clan.
That's such a Norse thing to do.
But yeah, so from that point on, like I said, for me, what I've been trying to push and what now in my older age, what I'm pushing to these young cats is the power of networking and being cool and saying hello and trying to politic and talk with people you don't know, because it's got me so far in life and I've crossed off so many bucket list moments because of that. And people, you know, whether they were seeing me at Sub T for years or now they know me from the Shrine, like, and then when going back to the Shrine, I got like a walk through my history again for the Chicago hip hop scene, because like people like Ron Trent, Terry Hunter, Joe Russo, like there were Greenweeds, there were so many people involved that were a part of the golden era in Chicago, you would call early 90s, that I got, you know, Tone Be Nimble, like I got to walk into this place that was being put together by DJs and people like that, Timbuktu, Leon Rogers. Like every day I walked into that place, I was surrounded by people that were up there doing that shit. You know, Wayne Williams would walk in and just be chilling and be cooling. And like I said, it was really humbling to get to know all these people, knowing how high of a pedestal a lot of them could be on, and how real and how encouraging a lot of them were to me. And that's another reason I continue to stay in it.
What was one of well, actually, let me ask this. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to escort the main act out because they were rowdy?
Not, I mean, as far as like superstar level or local level,
or it doesn't even matter. Like, because we know the higher they get, the crazier they get.
Yeah, the craziest shit that I seen. There were two things actually that come to mind. One, Rakim didn't show up to the Shrine because, I don't know, man. I think he was smoking rocks in a hotel somewhere. That's just my opinion, but he didn't show up. And then when he did show up, he didn't look right. And we had to basically tell a sold out venue, sorry, he's not coming on. Yeah. So as far as like crowd wise, that was probably the worst. Because you're in the South Loop with 1,000 pissed off people that had a lot to drink, and now they want their money back. So that was one. And then another one, and Leon Rogers can testify to this. I don't know if he almost got into it with Sheik Luch, or he almost got into it with somebody downstairs. It was like him. There were like 3 or 4 rappers in our green room at the Shrine, and a lot of people didn't even know that existed. It was a real. It was underground as it gets. So something happened where we had to go down there and respond. I remember Leon Rogers being in there like, "Fuck that! I'm in the army. Fuck you! I'm a radio personality." Woo! Like shit was hitting the fan crazy. So on that level, those were probably 2 of my worst. But yeah, I've seen, like I said, I almost take pride. Like I see so much local music and I see so many shows on a weekly basis. I feel like I got to be up there with some of the title holders of just watching shows, whether I'm into the music genre or not.
Name some of the local, well, I hate calling them local, but people from Chicago that that you know, like the shows that you've either put them on or you've seen that were dope?
So right now, the people that come to mind, like I'll use him as an example because we're gonna have him on Red Cup Wednesday. AM Early. I met AM Early at the Shrine. He was a rapper, you know, he stated himself like that. I was the first person to put AM Early on a stage at Sub T. I think I gave him his first show ever. From that kid had such a drive. He had some insane number of shows he was doing. Once he got a bit by that live bug, he went on that first year or two of just, he was taking everything and anything and doing shows and doing shows and doing shows and bringing a crowd out. Like he was just bringing people out. So I gave him the first shot at Sub T. Then we ended up doing shows at the Shrine together where I really got to get him involved with bigger names. And just now, we just had him a week ago with Flea Lord. He came from Queensbridge, who is deep underground dude, super dope. I forgot what crew they're in, but basically AM Early just got accepted to this crew as the first Midwestern person being out of this crew from Queensbridge. So watching him and giving him his first show and seeing what kind of drive he had to where he's at now and what he's accomplishing fan-wise and sales-wise, that's been pretty amazing. But what I've been over the years, I tell people all the time, what I've been doing is being a part of 606 and working their security or working there as a part of 606. I've been able to sit back and just watch, you know, these kids that yearn to get into Sub T from the time they're 18 or 19. They jump in this mic, and now all of a sudden you're like, wow, who is this? And where did he come? It's a fresh breath of air. And, you know, off the top, like, I think of Julian Extra, who's better known as JXL to people. I think of Kenny Words Santiago, who's just a fucking beast on the mic. I think of Seven Odds. I think, you know, Ever Evolved I work with. I'm working with this kid, Concept the MC, and his girlfriend, Squeak Stariola. I'm saying it wrong. Sorry. But, you know, people who are young and just passionate about putting on shows and living their dream and networking to the point where they are making money, they are making friends, they're getting noticed, and that's really what I'm shooting for now in my older age. You know, I make a little money off of things here and there, but at the end of the day, I have my 9-to-5 that supports my family, and a lot of this I do just out of the love of hip hop because I've always been such a big fan.
Yeah, that's dope. It's dope that you never lost that that heart or that love for hip hop. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times people like I wonder how people look at us sometimes. Like they need to know like I can look at you and see that you love hip hop. Like you're not doing this for the dough. Like if you was doing it for the dough, you probably be someplace else. You know what I mean?
I always tell people too, if I ever wanted to be a fucking rapper or a DJ during those times of opportunity when I was working with Large Professor, Cool G Rap, Nas, this, that, I could have had my fucking name up in lights everywhere and been rapping over a vocal track. You know, like that's how it was. And that's what I was seeing out of a lot of these people. And I think nowadays the argument is, even from the rappers and DJs you hear, are there too many people trying to be a part of the culture in the sense of being a rapper when they can't rap? So, you know, I've messed around and jumped on a mic. I think I freestyled once for the 15-year anniversary. I didn't do such a bad job. Conflict and Juice was in it, and I had the opportunity. I looked that up. It's on YouTube, so you can check it out and judge for yourself. But you know, here and there, I realized what I was there for. I was the better. I knew how to control a crowd. I knew how to deal with people's emotions. I knew how to make better business decisions for my friends. Like working with Shadow and Anai and Tony, they're super talented and super credibly, like, they're all three of them are so talented. And to work with them, I sort of felt like, what can I do to step my game up? I'm not gonna rap as good as Shadow or Anai. I'm not gonna be a DJ. How do I fit in this puzzle to make things work? And it's just all worked for me. And I've been very fortunate to do it with them. As far as like the 606 thing, I remember years back us four having a conversation, because I consider us like the second generation of 606. We were there even when Edgar and them were there, but you know, making it function and doing it how we want to do it has been me, Shadow, Boy Wonder, and Anai.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting back and saying, I think it was at the 15-year point, and Norm was retiring. He was like, guys, I'm working this job. I can't do this anymore. You know, I'm old, I'm out. So we were like, we're good. We got you. Don't worry. And one of his big things was, one of our big talks is, we have to hit that 20-year mark for like ourselves. We had a hit. Shadow's getting a little bit older. Sorry, old man, I love you, but a little bit older. You know, we have families and other things, but I was like, that 20-year mark we're gonna hit, and we did it. And people don't understand, like, as big of a history marker that is for everybody who's ever walked into Sub T. It was such a special moment, I think, for us four, especially because if we didn't put in the dedication, or if I didn't have the Shadow or Anai to come host, or if I didn't have Boy Wonder, who in my opinion, maybe not so much now because he is out at the clubs and the United Centers, has been one of the most underrated DJs in Chicago for a long, long time, who continued to put in work, who I think probably holds a record of probably longest cypher DJ of all time. And, you know, it was just such an accomplishment between friends that we're like, man, we fucking did this, man. You know,
That's awesome.
We carried the second half of the torch for these guys that I do consider my family, Edgar and everybody else. And it was such even now thinking about it, it was such an accomplishment. And I'm so proud of everybody I was with who did that. It's amazing. And I still don't understand why we don't get recognition from local channel 2, 5. So I mean, we have a hip hop night in Chicago that went through, I mean, if people don't know what Sub T's neighborhood was like before all the gentrification, there were gangbangers, hookers, and strippers. So real talk, to even be a bouncer around there at times, you had to know people. You knew how to deal with the situation. You had to know who was who. So with all those elements added in to get that done in a place now where I don't want to say hip hop's frowned upon, but it sort of is in Chicago, where every hip hop club that is up gets shut down because of shootings. And that's more of the, you know, newer stuff, I would per se. But you know, we broke so many barriers, and we've done it where literally I think I might have had to be physical on a Tuesday twice, and it was no more than 30 seconds just to get the guy out the door, and then it was done.
Yeah.
So that in its sense, other than it being hip hop 20 years in Chicago weekly at the same venue, there's been no fucking violence. And we're talking different gang members, cats from different sides of the city coming at 12 o'clock at night, going home at 3, 4, because people will sit out Sub T and cypher till 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Just because. So yeah, I mean, working with them, 606 has been such a big thing to me, man. And I'm so proud to carry that flag for everybody. And hopefully we keep it going for 20 years.
For continuing it.
What was that? Risky?
I'm saying the scene itself owes you a debt of gratitude for carrying that on and helping be a torch for these people.
I mean, first off, this is an accolade or an accomplishment that the city of Chicago should be proud of. Like over all other cities, we have a place that housed hip hop and had freestyles for 20 years straight on a Tuesday. Like
Crazy.
it. So first off, where's Guinness? Because we need that. You know what I'm saying? Second off, where's the city of Chicago behind us? Me and Risky talk about this all the time. Like, people think hip hop is a bad thing and it has this bad connotation, but hip hop brung people together. Like I have really close friends that don't live on my block, and the reason why that is because of hip hop. I traveled the city because of hip hop, and learned who different people were because of hip hop.
Well, I think that statement was true even in the early years, because from what I've collected, even from most of your guys' interviews and everything else, if you listen to an Ange 13 or you listen to somebody, we were coming from the South Side because the Blue Line train ran behind Sub T, and it ran 24 hours. So you were accessible to that all the time. There was a way to get there, you know, before Uber and everything else. They made it very accessible, and people respected the fact that once you walked in that room, it was about hip hop. It wasn't about the streets, wasn't about your color, wasn't about nothing. You came there to appreciate the moment. And I think now that's where Sub T's nostalgia is. And like, I've been there for 15 years. I've been in that room so many times that by now, frankly, you would think, man, this guy has got to be just done with it or whatever. But I swear to God, you have a Tuesday night, you know, it's June, you're working, you get one of these cats that come from out of town, and they come in there and it's just a good night with the nostalgia. I cannot tell you like what it feels like to be in a night where the act comes on, kills it, crowds feeling it. Another act comes on, kills it, crowds feeling it. It's building up, it's building up. Now you got Shadow and the Night coming on, grabbing the mic, getting everybody started, everybody warm. Then the cypher comes on, and not all the time, but every once in a great while, you'll have like 5 or 6 MCs that all come out that night that you know are gonna fucking rip it, and they just go. In the moment we have now, the one thing good I could say about the gentrification of Wicker Park, in the sense I see it, we've been getting a lot of tourists, a lot of people from out of country, a lot of people that probably would have never stepped foot in our bar are stepping foot in there and now experiencing it. And I've been, that's another thing, through networking alone. Pugs Adams, shout out to him, man. He's hit me with so many cats that, hey, I got a boy coming from New York. Hey, I got a boy coming from Australia, and other people from Texas, Indiana. Like, I legitimately have my DM blowing up all day long about how can I get on? How can I get on? And as much as I think I would be annoyed by it, once again, I take a lot of pride in that, because it's like, we are known. People are knowing about us. And even so, now I'm 40 years old. This young generation is still embracing us and networking with us. And I really believe what I'm seeing now between the younger cats coming up and even some of the older cats is that big brother mentor thing going on. And I think a lot of us who feel we didn't do our just right by hip hop, maybe growing up in it, now that we're older and understand it better, we're reaching out to the younger dudes and teaching them how to do it right. And some of them are really killing it right now.
And that's a really good point that you're making, because you see a lot of old hip hop heads talking about how these young cats are ruining hip hop and blah, blah, blah. Well, if they're out here and they feel like they're doing it on their own, they have to start from scratch. Of course, they're going to go with the stupid stuff.
They're going to do exactly, you know, they're going to figure it out like a lot of us did back in the day. But now, you know, like I said, like a Shadow Master with the 1213, and even now with us with Red Cup Radio, we're trying to come together. You know, me, Solo, Daz, we came together on this radio show, you know, Facebook Live podcast that we're doing now, that, you know, we came together because we wanted to hang out and talk about hip hop. And next thing you know, like, it's starting to catch. Like, we're getting people, we're getting new viewers, and we have a real good time doing it. So what I've learned is from networking with people that, you know, Brian's a DJ, Brian's a technical person. he knows how to fuck with the computer. I don't. That's why I'm here shooting this, because I would. It probably wouldn't have
blow
happened.
up the house.
Something would have happened, and my knife would have. If my wife would have busted out the knife and the Vicks vapor rub, and I would have been in trouble.
Wait.
So
Hey, that shit works.
not everything. It's like Lysol to the or what was that? Windex to the Greeks, man.
Yeah.
Same exact shit. But
yeah. Vicks fixes everything.
Oh my god.
Yo,
From a stuffy nose to a transmission. Vicks got you.
I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast, and Miles said Vicks is spicy Vaseline.
That's
hilarious.
That is hilarious. But yeah, my whole thing now, my whole vision, what I see myself doing with this or trying to push with this is just networking and really pushing Chicago music. There's so much good music out here that these radio stations ain't playing. And you don't so much have the Timbuktus anymore who had a foot in the underground and a foot in the commercial radio. And I think we've lost that element. We got plenty of other radio stations that are underground and people are doing it, and I see them, but it's like it always puzzled me, like why isn't an Ange 13 on GCI, or what? I don't understand it. And Chicago's built on such everybody's so worried about what the next man's gonna do to you or how they're gonna be on shady shit that networking is, people are very hesitant on it.
Yeah. And it's cool that, well, number one, technology is making it possible for, even us, a small group of people putting together a full-on documentary. And then we have a podcast that we're doing every week. But then you guys are coming out with your podcast every week. Like, that's cool. Because now, well, there's a lot of responsibility with that too. Because if we sit here and complain talking about, oh, these young cats don't know how to do it, or these radio stations don't bring on the right people. Well, now we have the power to bring those people on.
Right. And I think even with doing shows, like, you'll get certain heads that come out to a sub-T show to see so-and-so or so-and-so. If those shows are put together right and it's true entertainment, usually the bigger people that you're trying to, tug on that coattail are going to pay a little better attention. Right. Oh, who was involved in that? Who is doing that? Oh, I see that type of artist. I actually just did a soul R&B show Friday night with one of my little brothers, Brandon Fox. And, he packed the place out, put a quality R&B show together, and all walks of life were there. So it's like, that's the thing. Networking is always going to up your game out here. As an artist, as a promoter, is just a person, being a good person. I ultimately, from doing the security at Sub-T, landed me at other clubs, then in the Shrine, and now from the Shrine, I met my boss, who now I work for at CPS doing security, and it just all worked out like that. Now I'm in a high school with teenagers every day that I get to help mold and talk about music with and all that too. So it, like, for me, it's just crazy how just being positive and networking has led me in my life even up until this point. Take care of my own family.
Hey, I will say this, Jory. I think when people, if they don't know, they better learn something about Chicago. A favor is worth more than money in Chicago.
Oh, man, out here, you know that better than anybody. You've done shows from rock to rap to... You know what it is, and sometimes you do need those people to lean on, or hey, like, that's what I was saying. I call myself, I was the doorstop of the Shrine. I was the doorstop of Sub-T, like literally working at the door, but being able to open that door for acts and local artists and DJs, for my opinion, basically, because people, I guess I'm liked a little bit, where they trusted my word, like, okay, we can work with these guys, or we're going to bring a crowd.
Perfect example is the show we did with our band. Just so people on here know and understand how things work. I have a reputation in hip hop, but I put out a project that wasn't quite hip hop, and everywhere I went, if they really didn't know me from the new stuff, they didn't know anything about it, so nobody was kind of willing to let me get a weekend night. They only wanted a weeknight because it's not tested yet, right? I went to Jory. Jory didn't even hesitate to, he's like right away, he's like, I know you can pull people. I know it'll be good. And
and you killed it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Shout out to all those other guys who denied you because they fucking killed it, and it was a quality, great show. And you know, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
People want to take the business entertainment out of it, but really that's what it is. Yes, it's a passion. Just like you guys, I love this wholeheartedly, so I want to do it right, you know? And like you said, knowing people and talking to people, in your case, it was, you know, I need a show. That if I can do it, I'm going to do it for you, you know?
You did it right away. You took care of everything. And I mean, I knew what I could do. And I'm not mad at people that not knowing like what we can do. I mean, I get it. It's a business. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, right away, he was like, yeah, this is nothing. I know you'll fill it. And I know, yeah. And we did. And that definitely made me feel good. And that's, like I said, it was more valuable than any amount of money.
Well, thank you for that, and I appreciate that. But that's what people got to understand. Like, as much as you network with people to get a fan, it's good knowing the people in the places, and that's a big business lesson too. That Risky and Doe, I see you guys DJ at different joints. Like, you start building a relationship with these managers, these business owners, and you start understanding more. Okay, this is what they want out of us. This is what we're capable of doing. Should we do it? Don't do it. You know, like. And that's all it is. You know, at the end of the day, I'm trying to help this business make more money for it to better itself. And 90%, and you could contest to this, and other people can, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I didn't charge you anything. I didn't make a fucking penny. I gave you the price that I would have got for booking the room myself. And with friends such as yourself, like, that's what I'll do. It's like, especially upstairs, we have a whole production company at Sub T. And this, I hope anybody who's listening, please hear this out. We have a whole production company at Sub D called Kickstand Production, on top of our own couple people that work production at Sub T who book the calendar all year long. So anytime people are shooting requests for me for dates, like, I got to work for that and struggle for that and argue with people and put holds on a calendar and try to remember, which it's not a big deal to me as far as that, but there's a lot of people I feel like, you know, they hit me up, yo, I want to do this show, I want to work with you, can I do it? This is the date. Sorry, man, it's booked. Can we do it then? Oh, it's too far out. Then they think I'm playing them to the left. You know, it's like a lot of this stuff I have no control over other than shooting in a date and hoping that they say, okay, man, it's yours, do something with it.
Perfect example. You hooked me up, but we still had to do a date that was, you know, you gave me, it was like, I was trying to get something at a certain time. You were like, well, we have this. I can give you this if you want it. You put the option on the table. It was right before Christmas. It was December 21st, right before. Right. I'm like, yeah, I know what I can do. And I'll
see it. And that's the thing, like you, because you've been in shows like this before and you've done production with shows like that. You've seen the backside of it as well as being a part of it. Yeah. That a lot of people don't understand. If you're coming to a venue that has a 400-person cap, that venue wants to see at least 200 people out of you. So what I also tell people too is don't be afraid to do a show downstairs at Sub T. See if you could sell out a 120-person crowd downstairs. And if that works out, then we'll take it up. You know, for me, it's like, I don't even want to say minor league or major league because we got Sadat X coming downstairs Sub T July 7th. He's going to be there live, 6 rings, solo, me, Sadat X live in the basement of Sub T. On that stage, like we did Raw Digger and Sensei. So it's like some of these cats, you know, they want to shoot for the stars and no, I need that big room. I need that big room. What they don't understand is if you perform badly upstairs in that big room, the next time I go ask for that date and they say, well, who's so-and-so? And then I tell them a name and they look at numbers and they're like, we're good with that. That's why I'm telling people, like, when you come, you got to come correct. You got to know what you're doing.
Man.
You got to know how to push it. Do you have enough time to promote? Because if not, usually that is your one chance at a venue. And if you do shitty, chances are, and I'm speaking for any venue, chances are they're not going to have you back, you know? And they need to keep the lights on like everybody else.
There's a lot of shitty acts out there waiting for that spot.
A lot of that now, social media is, it would surprise you when I get asked, like, the one thing I'm so anti, like, pay to play is, we were speaking earlier a little bit about it. It's amazing. I get these young kids that come up to me, even for the open mic when I'm at, you know, working it in the summer. Hey man, how much it costs to get on that stage? Like, that's what's just built in their brains.
Wow.
Where if I wanted to be, I could be that guy and be like, $20. Let's run it. $20. Let's run it. You know, it's funny how, like I said, even at the Shrine coming up, there were a lot of promoters and things that I seen come in and make a lot of fucking money and then disappear into thin air. You haven't heard from them again. And it happens a lot on the Chicago scene with outside promoters too. What's happening now is there's bigger promoters that are giving money from LA and New York and whatever, paying for the shows to come in, and it's a pay to play in Chicago, but it's produced from some guy from LA. So there's a lot going on that people aren't informed about or don't know the business like that. And most of the time they're getting raped.
Looks like Mood Swings is in the chat room. It says this is the best interview I've seen Jory do.
Thanks, other than the one time he said fuck my grandmother or something.
Whoa.
Oh my God!
What?
Yeah. That was a red cup first for Swings. But see, I get to meet all these guys all these years. People like Mood Swings, even though, like, the friendships and the business and the networking that I've got from Sub T alone, it's priceless. And the memories I have with all these people, even crazy ass Mood Swings, is I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. It's been a really, really cool experience and a great ride for me.
Awesome.
That's dope. So I wanted to talk more about the Red Cup show that you guys are working on. What if people wanted to catch up to that and check that out? Like, what are they in for?
Well, what we do is we're sort of coming from the basement aspect, you know, the old BET, Big Tig in the basement. That's what we saw. That's where we're drawn off of. Red Cup originally was brought to you by DJ Han Solo, and he started himself, a couple of years back? Couple years back, per se. He was doing his thing where he started having guests. I think Ange was on, Shadow, Sam. He started it himself, but it sort of crashed out for him. Then we all got together, and we used to go to Q4, and we had a Red Cup radio station where it was me, Shadow, Solo, B-Vax was a part of it, and Ms. V, Veronica Howard, she was a part of it. So we did that for a little while. It didn't work out as far as what we were trying to do as far as views and stuff like that on the radio aspect. We didn't feel like we were getting it out there enough. So about a year ago, almost to date, I think we're going back almost a year to date now, Solo reached out to me again and he said, hey, man, I got this idea again with Red Cup. I want you on. It's going to be more like a basement type deal. I'm going to DJ. We're going to talk hip hop. And then, sooner or later we'll get guests on and we'll just, go with it as it goes. So for a year straight now, we've been doing every other Wednesday. So this coming Wednesday, we got AM early morning music on. And we run it from a page called The Fundamentals on Facebook, which what we're trying to do is make that a umbrella platform. Mm-hmm. And we're in the works right now with Power Style Radio and also Stir Crazy, who Shadow and DNA beats. And nothing's in stone yet. It's all in talks, but we're planning on having them also be on the fundamentals page with us. So like Power Style or Stir Crazy will be a Monday, for example, Monday show. They'll either do it every other week or every week. Power Style is going to come back. They're going to do their Tuesday every week, but it's all going to be branched under the fundamentals page. And what we're doing here now is really like, the way I see it is try to put all the bullshit aside, and for all these old heads like Solo Me, Shadow, DNA, Ange 13,
Respect.
Kid Jungle, all these cats that, you know, most definite, they give back to the community, they give back to the hip-hop community. What we're trying to do now is get us all under one umbrella so that we're just pushing each other and maybe be that better example for the younger people and start drawing more productivity and views and get music out there better by all being as one. But that's how it started. Me and Solo was spinning, and I love just sitting down here. It's a badass little lab to be in. He's always spinning great music.
Yeah.
And Theo, actually shout out to Theo Wright, Sun 7. He actually hit us up after like our first show and was like, hey man, I really like what you guys are doing. You think we could come on as guests? And I was like, fuck it. Yeah, let's run it. So he came, and once they came, it like changed the whole course of what we were on. Then out of nowhere, we had Audacity, and we decided, why don't we put Audacity on? It would add a different, you know, loud and you know, he's like having one of them DJs that, you know, like screaming a lot in between shit.
Solid,
and he'll always call Juice. He will pull the Juice card on you at any moment on this show. He'll be like, so what did you think about that? Let's call Juice. I got Juice. Right now. We got Juice.
A segment.
Swear to God. And you know what? Shout out to Terry Parker, because Juice comes on the show damn near every other week and talks to us and gives us updates about what he's doing and what's he been on in LA. So it's been a super blessing. And at the end of the day, it's just us three down here having fun and bringing on people that we're interested in and want to know more about and really enjoy their music. So we're pushing their music for them. And we're hoping that gets sort of contagious, where these artists are like, man, he's rocking my music. They're pushing our music. We're interviewing it. Hey, maybe his family and friends will tune in for the next one. And that's it. You know, we considered radio before, but then like I was telling Solo, I was like, I got 4,000 friends. You got 4,000 friends. We have a better chance of pushing this music on live Facebook than we do pushing it on a radio wave in that sense. At that time, what was working for us. And it seemed to do real well, and we've been getting a great response, and people are actually reaching out to us now, asking if they can be on or want to be a part. So it's been another great blessing, man, and just something that gets us excited about new music and crazy. It's crazy. It's a good time though.
It's got to be dope, man. Like you guys have such the element of hip hop, like in the basement, with people who understand and know hip hop, and a fucking great ass fucking DJ Solo is bananas. So respect for you guys holding down the culture and trying to put it out.
That's the thing with, like, we have the Red Cup room that came as a thing where now we have them spit the freestyles at the end of the show in the Red Cup room. That's where Maintain's video did like fucking 5,000 in a week and a half. He was killing it. But we added that element, like, BET, the basement's gone now. There's not too many shows that I'm even home around for anymore that are on TV that give you the element of the basement or the hip hop. So we sort of wanted to fill that void within our own community, especially me with being a part of 606 and having that at my disposal, because I get new people running through there all the time where I feel they're good or they're going to be on something or have a great work ethic. Now I can reach out to this kid. And being in the moment of 606 after a cypher, after they just got props on the stage, it's amazing what it does for people's confidence and how they want to get the ball rolling in their own profession, you know?
Yeah, man. I kind of want to say thank you for being here all these years and being a part of the culture and help pushing it. The one thing, it's one thing, calling yourself an MC or calling yourself a graffiti artist or calling yourself a DJ, but the culture kind of commands and demands for you to give, to teach and to give back. And when you start doing that, you've gone full circle. So thank you for doing what you've done.
Nah, man, it means a lot coming from you, and I'm blessed to get to meet people as yourself through this music stuff. And I'm a part of Shyrock Nation, Chapter 4, rest in peace, Heckle, who invited me personally into that. That was a huge milestone for me. I'm a part of 606, which I'll go to my grave with. That's my family, my friends. And it's just been a big pleasure. And I've got this wonderful walk through local Chicago hip hop that a lot of people don't get. And I got to see from, top stars to some of the grittiest underground rappers who I think sooner or later you're going to hear a few of these names that we're hearing around these parts now pop up, man.
Yo, here's a good question before we leave, and it's very controversial, so I'm gonna get it in. So all right, being that hip hop is kind of predominantly black and Latino or black and brown, kind of like culturally black and brown, being a white guy or a Norse guy being
pigmentally challenged.
but being in this culture, how do you find, is there any adversity that you have to face, being white? Or
well, I think initially, yes. The answer to that is yes. I've had to face a whole bunch of it, especially being security in an all-black club where there were times I had to walk up to you and be like, hey, man, it's time to leave. It's time to go home one way or another, So, yes, from being in the scene when I first started at Sub T, I came from the northwest suburbs. I'm from Des Plaines originally. I grew up in Chicago, moved to the suburbs, and then eventually moved back. And now I've been in Chicago for the last 19 years. So when I first came on the security scene, I was sort of even up in the hip hop club. Like, I don't know any of y'all. Fuck y'all. I'm here to do security. I was the enforcer when I was younger, 21, 22. I always said hello to everybody. What's up? How you doing? But before I really got to know you on I wouldn't even say a personal level, just to know you as whether this guy's a good guy or an asshole, I didn't really show any emotion like that because I was there to do a job. And it was keep people in line so that I, could get paid.
So not coming from a security standpoint, because we face that as security anyway. Like when people see security on you, they automatically think, oh, this guy's the enforcer. Like I dealt with that a lot. Like,
you're just saying that as me walking in.
Well, just being just like your start with 606, just being
with 606, absolutely not. Because when I first started going to that night, even it was such a mixed night. It was at that time when I first started going, it was predominantly Filipino.
Yes,
I was up in there for the Filipino chicks. Like, man, I was I was the minority of that night. So when
Mrs. J Norm is in the chat room, she said, "You say what?"
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. But when I started going there, 21, 22, it was the pick, of course, number one for the music because I was like, damn, this spot got hip hop. But back in the day, people don't see it. There's the common joke because there's a lot of MCs. Oh, it's a hard-led party, woo, woo, woo. But back in the day, it was more DJ orientated where, especially in the Filipino community, they really supported each other. So there were tons of girls there. So we were going there for the girls. And most of the time I was with a group of guys in my 20 where we didn't give a shit. If you wanted a problem, we sort of welcomed it. Like, cool, we're here to have a good time, but you know, we could do that too.
Right.
As I went to the shrine, that was a real big game changer for me because especially in the times towards the end, I was there from pretty much open to close. I was there for the opening. I think I left maybe about 5 months before it got closed down. I had a lot of issues because I was the white guy in an all black club. And regardless of what I said or did, even on the working side of it all, I was the first person that was going to get checked or try to check. And the first couple months of being at the shrine for me was almost like I had to prove myself to everybody. But there too, what they didn't understand about that place is in Chicago, there's so many street politics that come along with just opening a nightclub that you have to be street savvy, and you got to be business savvy. So there were guys there that I had conversations with that probably could have got me killed many of times, but because they knew I was being straight up and genuine and a guy doing my job, and once they saw who I really was, it didn't become an issue. But yeah, man, I got to feel, I don't know how to word it though, because I don't want to say like reverse racism or revert like.
Yeah, there's no such thing as reverse racism.
Right.
But
I was the person I was outnumbered. I was the one who looked different.
Yeah.
I was the person at certain points where a lot of my brothers from the shrine, big up to all of them, because if it wasn't for a lot of them, I probably could have been killed a million times, really stepped up and because of the person I was to them, being a brother in arms or whatever it may be in that case, they really stood on my character and they told people, hey man, he's with us. He's one of us. If you don't like it,
right,
what's up?
Right, we're gonna have a problem.
You know, there was always the joke going around with me where it's like people would be like, it's almost funny, especially at the shrine. They'd be like, "Oh, you Puerto Rican, man?" Because I would wear a Kangol, a lot of woo. I'd be like, "No, I'm white," and they'd be like, "You ain't white, man." It was like, no, I really my last name's Norman.
Isn't that funny how people tell you what the hell you are?
It's funny what they perceive, because I guess I'm not your average, golly gee white guy, and even in the high school I work at now, when they find out that I'm a white male, they're sort of thrown back by it. They're like, "You sure you ain't Latin?" Like, no, man, I'm white.
Chad Mexican for a long time. Don't worry about it.
Right. To answer your question, though, that's what it was. I've been in many positions where, like I said, I can't put a name on it, but I was the outcast. I was the uncomfortable one, and I had to deal with those situations head on. So for me, it was a life lesson and a big, big learning lesson. Just, how to see things from the other side of the fence and not having my privilege work for me at all at times,
Yeah. We talk about this in a documentary a lot. And actually me and Chad talk about it all the time too, about how hip hop is so embracing to all colors. And if we didn't have hip hop, then we probably, maybe, especially living in this city that's so segregated, we might not even be friends if it wasn't for hip hop.
No, and that's what's crazy about like a sub T, and that's why I feel like it needs to be held so much higher than what it is. It's a shit little dive bar and a music venue, but the friendships it's brought together and the diversity that it's had and the love that has come from that room, you can't put a price tag on that, man. And our city doesn't embrace things like that for some reason. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Figure it out. We will.
This or that, this or that, this or that, this or that.
J Norm.
Yes, sir.
This or that. Rollo or Loki?
Rolo, and the reason I say Rolo is because I might be a direct descendant of him being a Norman. If you don't believe me, Google it. That's real shit.
You ain't Nordic.
Solo still, Loki's a god.
That's why I can't claim him, man. I'm more of a demigod.
Well, there you go.
Look at you.
Norman, Mr. Norman, J Norm, this or that, being a promoter or being security?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Whoa.
I would say being a producer of shows rather than even a promoter.
Okay, cool. Yeah, take it.
Yeah. Doing a show, putting it all together from top to bottom, and then watching it come to fruition where you get to see a crowd just truly enjoy the night. That's one of the best feelings in the world.
Awesome.
All right. This is my this or that. So Chad just took my this or that, so I had to come up with one real quick. And this or that you might think might be fucked up, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway.
Shoot.
This or that. Tazar or Maximum Carnage?
Oh, Tazar all day. I love Max, but yeah, I won't ever lie to Max, man. And Maximum Carnage is outdone himself at Sub T so many times. But one thing I will say about him, and this is what I'll say, he does not shy away from it, no matter how good or bad people think he is.
Yo,
Props to him for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it takes balls to be in front of people on any type of stage, and that's why I don't do it a lot.
Right. Cool. Good job. Thank you for being on, brother.
Hey, man, it's truly an honor, and what you guys are doing means more to this community than I think you guys even realize. And to me, like I said, this is just another bucket list milestone that hopefully my kid gets to see one day. And remember me.
I'm gonna have to go back and bleep everything out now.
That's okay. We're real in the household.
I like how me and Norm, the Scandinavian fucking twins of hip hop over here, are both rocking the fucking the winter. The what?
It's snow camouflage. We're ready for it.
Yeah.
Hey, so if people want to catch up to you online and like check out what you're doing, where can they find you?
Yeah, on Facebook it's Jory Norman. That's the government name. On Instagram and Twitter it's jnorm606. And yeah, I got tons of stuff on there. It's like that's another thing with social media. It's like it's having a book of memories in your hand at all times now. So yeah, I hope everybody checks my stuff out. A lot of it, most of the stuff on Instagram isn't me. It's other people rapping, DJing, all that. So check me out, man.
Just looked up JNorm606. JNorm747?
What's that on?
I have no idea.
Instagram?
Instagram,
Yeah, that's me too.
Okay, boom. Gotcha.
Sorry.
All good. Just trying to make sure. To please Mr. Doe. Hey, Chad, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
You can find me on interwebs at DJ Risky Biz 1975. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. How about you, Doe?
You can check me out on the Instagrams at DJ Sean SEANDOE, and on Facebook under my name, Rasan Sean Doe Hawkins. I got two good things I'm doing this weekend. One good thing is that I got a call from my sister Psalm 1 to come run do some things for her show that she's gonna have at the Tonic Room this weekend. This is the last All Smiles. So it's gonna be really dope. It's Friday. It's Green Slime, Encyclopedia Brown, Psalm 1, DJ. I think that's 11. Yeah,
Shout out to Jones for all smiles.
and and the headliners are the Tomorrow Kings. So I just hate that my little brother's not here for that, but it's still going to be a really dope show. So that's Friday at the Tonic Room, and then on Sunday, every last Sunday of the month, I do a vinyl, kind of like anybody can bring vinyl and play over at the Stony Island Arts Bank. It's from 12 p.m. to 6. And if you have records at home, if you're in the city of Chicago, if you can get to the South Side, come to Stony Island Arts Bank. It's a really beautiful place. It's a museum, and they let us play vinyl there. So come through, have fun Sunday.
Dope. Also, Jay, where can people find Red Cup Radio?
Red Cup Radio is on the Fundamentals Facebook page, DAPHUNDAMENTALZ. And you click in that, like our page, and every other Wednesday we do a show. This Wednesday we got AM early music. And yeah, man, we got the ball rolling on that. And then, hey, Doe, that OR They show was super dope too.
Yeah, it was.
They killed it.
Yo, let me give props to that show because it's crazy because it was just a really, like, they know how to do a show.
Bro,
Like,
see what I'm saying though? That moment you could have in that little shithole bar, it was unbelievable.
yo, Walter kills, Jed kills. The beats that they got from Aloe were bananas.
It was crazy.
Def C did a really good job. If you had never seen Def C before, it's all like every time he performs, I'm just like in awe. And the OR they I mean, Walter's so funny, and I mean their chemistry on stage is just unmatched. So yeah, it was a really good show. It was
Nice.
I saw Jory in the background looking like this. Yeah, he was like, because I was DJing on stage and I could see everybody. And Jory, it like you can tell that he really enjoys himself inside of this little space that we got called hip hop. You know,
That's awesome. Oh yeah, real quick. Carlos, you can find Carlos at coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice everywhere else, especially on Instagram. And on Instagram, you're probably going to see this tomorrow.
nice.
I got to finish it up.
Oh my God, thank you for making me semi-skinny. I've been fat my whole life, so when I see a semi-skinny, I'm like, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
What I'm talking, I got a kid to live for, boys.
Donations will be accepted for an elliptical machine.
Only if Viking music comes with it.
Right. This
So
has been Midway Radio, midwayradio.com, and it's the podcast that's associated to the documentary, Midway documentary, The Story of Chicago Hip Hop. Jory is going to be, obviously, he's part of this story, and that's why he's on this show. We reach out, try to get you guys to come in and share some of the stories and bring some light to some of the more updated things that you guys are up to. That being said, shout out to Doug Infinite and the High Power Studios for the intro music. Shout out to Shure Microphones. This is me just remembering Ryan talking all his, because he's the responsible one. Shure Microphones, shout out to them for a microphone that we gave Risky that he never uses. Look at, he's reaching. You're welcome, Ryan.
You motherfuckers.
Yeah, so we're here every Monday. And I think I said midwaydocumentary.com, midwaydoc.com, midway doc around the board. That's it for us, I believe, unless anyone else has some another last word.
I just wanted to say thank you guys again, and I truly appreciate the opportunity and love you all, man. Appreciate you guys all. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Oh yeah, we got the Vikings theme song happening. Wait, you trying to tell him that he's chunky and he needs to exercise? Is that what you're doing, Chad?
For my Viking brother right here.
Hey, I want it on the record. I'm friends with Jory no matter what he looks like.
Thank you, sir.
Puerto Ricans hang together, boy. Yeah.
I birthed them.
Yo, next week our guest will be Panic from the Moment. So that's gonna be awesome. And I don't think I'll be here next week. So let's find out where I am next week for Midway.
Where in the world is Rasan Shondo Hawkins? All right, everybody. Have a good week. We'll see you on Monday.
Peace.